So what I'm going to take you through is some of the conceptual underpinnings of the work that we do at Bellingcat. So what makes the work that we do so much different to other people? It's not actually too much different, but our sources are very different. So I imagine pretty much every single person here in this room has got a phone on them. Has anyone not got a phone on them? No, I've got one, because everyone's got one. Okay? This is a network monitoring device. It can take a picture, it can take a video, you can upload it to networks. You can upload it to internet, you can upload it to social media, and that provides a huge amount of resources which you can pull on to create and see news as it happens. So you can actually use social media to monitor news. Now, if, say, a rocket launcher pulled up outside this place and started firing rockets at the Belgians because, you know, screw those guys, what's going to happen? How many of you would run away? Just me, okay. How many of you would try and hide? A couple. How many of you would try and take a picture or a video of that rocket launcher? Yeah. Okay, and lots of you would do nothing and just stand there panicked. Okay. So everybody likes filming interesting stuff. Okay? You've got a camera everywhere you go, so of course if something interests you, you're going to take a video of it or a picture of it. And because social media is designed to be addictive, you know, you get that hit of endorphins every time you get a retweet, like, you know, someone comments on it. You want to produce the kind of interesting content that gets that engagement, that gets other people looking at you on social media, on the internet. And because humans are naturally gregarious, we want to share all that content with as many people as possible. And the result is vast amount of data that's posted online constantly. And a lot of that data is stuff that's not so important. Pictures of fancy foods, cats playing piano, and current events, which is the kind of stuff that we're interested in. Now, this kind of power to want to take images and share it with other people on social media can be incredibly powerful. So this is a picture of an ID on a tube train in 2017. It partially detonated, so it didn't explode properly. Does anyone notice that it's like still burnt and stuff? Whoever took this image went up to this ID that had just blown up, stood over it, and took a picture of it. People will risk their lives for this kind of content. And when you're talking about conflict zones where people have this huge urge to tell their story, people will continue and continually risk their lives to get this kind of content in order to tell their story. What I'm going to talk about now is some of what you can see when you actually, or when an event like that theoretical rocket launcher actually occurs. Okay, so this is a Twitcident. So on the bottom, we have the time, so 24-hour periods a day. On the left is the keywords that we're interested in. So if we were, say, a train crash, we'd be interested in train, derail, crash. Now, as you look at the kind of natural progression of tweets, they'll generally vary over a predictable timeline. You know, up, down, but sometimes something happens. And suddenly lots and lots of posts are about that keyword or those keywords that we're interested in. And that is what's called a Twitcident. Great name, I didn't invent it. So when we look at the anatomy of a Twitcident, we can see some quite interesting things going on here, although it does just look like a graph. So you can actually see when the event occurs. So the very first post that you'll find about an incident can actually be incredibly accurate. When people on Twitter, they can, you know, post within a few seconds. So you can actually work out when an event occurs very, very accurately, or reasonably accurately. You also have the time of the first media report. And after that first media report, you'll find that the number of tweets increase exponentially. And what we're really interested in is the content that's posted here. That's most likely to be by first-hand witnesses, include videos and photos of the incident, before all of these people ruin it by posting kind of fake news clips. And that's the kind of stuff we aim to identify, verify it using our techniques, and then amplify it. I'm going to give you an example now. So Mr. Wafali is a warlord in Libya. And one of his colleagues posted or started posting videos of executions on Facebook. And so we decided what kind of information we could gather from the videos. The ICC actually issued the first arrest warrant based entirely on open source evidence on this case. I should warn you that some of these are a little bit graphic. Nothing too bad. So this is a video of one of the executions. You see the guys who are accused of being members of ISIS lined up there. And what we can do, we can extract the stills from this video. Now, when you look at a video, you can get a brief kind of flash of what's happening. But when you stitch these stills together, you can create a panorama and see many more details than you would usually. And so in the background of this video, of this panorama, you can see certain details that we can then use to place this event in space. So we have some buildings in the back left, a wall on the back right, and a road that's just about visible. And these kind of buildings with a large opening at the bottom were quite distinctive. They only appeared to be around one particular area in Benghazi, the Chinese housing area, or Chinese housing project. And so you could look at other videos that had been taken in that place, and you could see that this is probably around that area. We then actually had to find the precise place where this video had taken place. And although sometimes we made this look easy, we actually spend a huge amount of time doing this. There's a lot of legwork doing it, and one thing I think you can pull from our work is that if you give people enough time, that kind of resource can be incredibly valuable. So we eventually found what we thought was a likely place, where we had the features that you could see in the video. So you could see the buildings on the top left, the wall on the right, and the fork in the road. Now we thought, you know, this kind of matched, but we decided to take a closer look to be absolutely certain of what we were seeing. And when we went closer, using the satellite imagery that anyone can access on Google Earth, you can actually see that the bushes that you can see on the ground line up perfectly with the bushes that you can see in the video. And we also noticed on satellite imagery that these black spots appeared at this location while we were conducting this investigation. And we realized that these black spots actually lined up with where this execution had taken place. And we realized that this was the bloodstains of the men who had been executed. So very certain we've placed this event in space. So we then wanted to place this event, after we had placed it in space, in time. And we could do that by looking at the shadows of the guys. Because by using a simple commercial tool that photographers use, we could work out the time that had actually taken place, or the rough time it had taken place, which is about 6:30 in the morning. And we knew when it had taken place because those black spots appeared between the 14th and 17th of July. So we had the time, the place, and the time. Sorry, the date, the place, and the time. And that's just an example of how from a single video and applying the kind of techniques that we've applied to news, you can pull out a huge amount of information for something that you didn't necessarily expect to be able to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.